49 days to go before Election Day. Billionaire Elon Musk at the center of yet another firestorm after making what he says was a joke about political violence on his social media site X, of course, formerly Twitter. This is the now deleted post I'm talking about, saying no one is trying to kill President Biden or Vice President Harris. It's just the latest controversial comment from the tech entrepreneur whose growing influence on this year's election is sparking a whole lot of questions. Here to give her insights is Trump campaign spokeswoman Karoline Leavitt. Karoline, it's always good to have you. Before I get to Elon, let me just ask you first, Flint, Michigan tonight. I mean, the second attempt on your boss's life. He's obviously using this as momentum, but is he scared at all for his own safety?
Well, President Trump is remarkably defiant in the face of these attempts on his life. I was with him for most of the day yesterday. He is steadfast and determined to win this election. So, yes, he will be on his way to Michigan today, hosting a big rally in New York tomorrow, addressing a convention for an Israeli group on Thursday in Washington, D.C., and then hitting the campaign trail again this weekend. So, look, President Trump, unfortunately, this has become his life. He has asked the Secret Service for more protection and more resources. However, we are continually grateful to his personal detail on the United States Secret Service that sprung into action yesterday with urgency or on Sunday with urgency and with courage to protect President Trump. But it is very clear that he needs more protection as these threats increase on his life ahead of the election. Yeah,
we're certainly glad it was a second failed attempt and that it was thwarted by Secret Service. Okay, now back to Elon Musk. How would President Trump like to respond to Musk's now deleted tweet saying nobody's even trying to assassinate President Biden or Vice President Harris?
Well, look, Markie, I haven't talked to President Trump about Elon's particular tweet. I don't speak for Elon Musk. I do speak for President Trump. And I do believe Elon Musk has since deleted that tweet and said that it was a joke. But what I can tell you is what isn't a joke, and that is the Democrat Party's rhetoric, Kamala Harris's rhetoric, Joe Biden's rhetoric against President Trump every single day. They have repeatedly said that he is a threat to democracy, a dictator, an existential threat to America. They have said that democracy is on the ballot, and if people vote for President Trump, then this country is going to end. I mean, that is inflammatory rhetoric that is based upon lies that has emboldened the assassins in both of these attempts on President Trump's life. We know that the lunatic who tried to kill him on Sunday at the golf course actually echoed some of that very same rhetoric on his own social media, saying democracy is on the ballot. So Kamala Harris, the onus is on her right now to come forward to say that she denounces the inflammatory rhetoric of her party, that President Trump is not a threat to democracy, because she knows better. He is not. These are lies that the Democrat Party has unfortunately been fueling, and they have emboldened crazy people to attempt to take President Trump's life.
And Karoline, what do you say for your boss as well? You know, in the wake of these assassination attempts against President Trump, you have lawmakers and also millions of American voters saying, okay, everybody on both sides, can we please cool it down? Does President Trump feel committed to toning down some of his inflammatory speech after almost losing his life twice?
Well, President Trump is fighting this election on the issues that matter. He is rightfully calling out Kamala Harris for her communist economic policies. Even the liberal New York Times and Washington Post said Kamala Harris's communist price control plan was that, communist. President Trump is calling out Kamala Harris for her wide open border policy that has led to misery and chaos and crime across our great country. There is only one candidate in this election who has had 2 attempts on their life, and it is not Kamala Harris. It is President Trump. The violence in this country is coming from the political left, and Kamala Harris should denounce it, and she should fight this election on the issues that matter as well, such as immigration, the border, the economy, foreign policy. Those are the issues President Trump has been talking about. Kamala Harris needs to stop the lie that President Trump is a dictator and a threat to democracy. She knows those things are not true. Let's talk about the issues that matter at home. President Trump will continue to do that.
It's a time where hopefully everybody can take the high road. Karoline Leavitt, as always, thank you for joining me. We're wishing y'all continued safety, not only your boss, but you and your team as well. Thanks for watching, everybody. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. Also, don't forget to click that red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.